It was a night that would be remembered, not for the flashing cameras, the applause, or the awards handed out, but for a single moment, a moment that would haunt fans and define the story of Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun forever. The atmosphere was electric. Fans had gathered from all corners of the world, social media feeds were flooded with updates, and cameras captured every smile, every bow, every carefully rehearsed gesture. But behind all the glitz and glamour, there was tension. An unspoken storm that neither of them could ignore any longer. For months, whispers had circulated about the state of their relationship. Rumors of disagreements, misunderstandings, and missed opportunities filled the internet. Yet the public still saw what they wanted, a perfect pairing, flawless and untouchable. But the truth was far more complicated. Kim Go-eun had been holding back. Her eyes, though radiant, carried the weight of countless nights spent wondering if the love she once cherished could survive the pressures surrounding them. Every meeting, every event, every fan encounter became another layer of strain. And Lee Min-ho, he had tried. He tried to balance his career with the demands of fame, the expectations of fans, and the private life he desperately wanted with her. He had tried to be patient, to communicate, to reassure her that he would never let her go. Yet, as they stood on the stage that night, the tension was palpable. It began subtly. A glance here, a hesitation there. Fans online would later dissect every frame of footage, noticing how Kim Go-eun's hand lingered on the award longer than necessary, how her smile didn't quite reach her eyes, and how Lee Min-ho's posture stiffened as if bracing for what he knew was coming. The event proceeded as normal. They congratulated other stars, laughed at lighthearted jokes, and smiled for the cameras. But behind the orchestrated charm, both knew the conversation waiting backstage could change everything. Backstage, the world fell away. No cameras. No applause. No fans. Just them. Kim Go-eun turned to him, her expression a mixture of sadness, frustration, and resolve. She had rehearsed this in her mind for days, but now that the moment had arrived, her heart still raced. Lee Min-ho approached, trying to reach for her hand, to hold her, to stop her before words became irreversible. "Please," he whispered softly, almost pleading. "Don't go, not like this." But she shook her head. Her eyes glistened with tears, not from anger, but from the heartbreak of a love she still felt deeply. "I can't," she said, voice trembling. "I've tried. I've really tried. But this isn't working anymore." Fans would later argue about what this meant. Some blamed the pressures of fame. Some speculated about misunderstandings, hidden betrayals, or secret scandals. But the truth, as anyone who has loved deeply can understand, was simpler and more painful. Sometimes love isn't enough. Lee Min-ho's eyes filled with disbelief. His lips parted, searching for words, any words that could convince her to stay. But nothing came, because words couldn't bridge the growing distance between them. Actions, gestures, smiles, they all failed where silence and solitude had succeeded. Kim Go-eun took a step back. The space between them felt monumental, as though the world itself had stretched to mirror the distance in their hearts. "I have to do this for myself," she said softly, voice breaking. "You deserve someone whole, Lee Min-ho. And I need to find who I am without being defined by us." And with that, she walked away. Lee Min-ho reached out instinctively, as if sheer willpower could pull her back. But his fingers grasped nothing but air. And in that instant he understood, some moments are irreversible. Some goodbyes are final, even when the heart refuses to believe it. He stood frozen, watching her leave, the echoes of her footsteps haunting him like a melody he could never forget. The cameras outside continued to flash. Fans cheered. The world continued moving. But for him, time had stopped. The aftermath was immediate. Social media erupted with speculation and heartbreak. Did they break up? Why did Kim Go-eun walk away? Could Lee Min-ho have done more? Inside, the pain was quiet but profound. He posted a simple photo the next day, a sunset over a city skyline. Caption: "Some things are meant to be remembered, not held onto." Fans dissected it for hours. Every word, every punctuation, every shade in the image was assumed to reflect his inner turmoil. Meanwhile, Kim Go-eun remained silent. She retreated from the public eye briefly, focusing on her work, her personal growth, and the fragile pieces of her heart she needed to heal. Those who were close to them knew the depth of their love. They had witnessed the laughter in private moments, the quiet conversations that lasted long after cameras were off, the subtle ways they tried to navigate the impossible balance of fame and intimacy. But the pressures had been relentless. Every public appearance, every scandal, every rumor chipped away at the foundation of trust they had built. And that night became the breaking point. Months later, rumors persisted. Will they reconcile? Did Lee Min-ho fight for her? Is this the end of their love story? He tried to move forward. She tried to find herself. But the memory of that night, the final exchange, the silent goodbye, remained indelible. It was a wound, tender but defining, shaping the way they moved through life, through their careers, through the moments that followed. The story spread like wildfire. Fans created timelines, dissected interviews, and debated every nuance of body language caught on camera. Was the distance between them truly irreparable? Or was this a temporary farewell, a pause in a love that had been so intense it threatened to consume them both? For Lee Min-ho, every award, every role, every public appearance carried the weight of her absence. For Kim Go-eun, every script, every rehearsal, every fan greeting reminded her of what she had left behind. Not out of hate, but out of necessity. And yet, in quiet moments, in empty hotel rooms, on long flights, and during solitary walks, their thoughts returned to each other. Not with bitterness, not with anger, but with longing. Because the love that drives two people to greatness can also break them in ways no one else understands. Some fans speculate that the final words exchanged backstage were full of regret, apologies, and confessions that could never be fully spoken aloud. Others believe that the farewell was simply an acknowledgement of reality, a mutual understanding that love sometimes demands sacrifice. No one will ever know exactly what passed between them in those final minutes. And perhaps that is the way it was meant to be. The night Kim Go-eun walked away wasn't the end of their story. It was a chapter. A painful, unforgettable, heart-wrenching chapter. One that would leave fans discussing, theorizing, and emotional for years to come. Lee Min-ho continues to captivate audiences, as does Kim Go-eun. Their work is flawless. Their presence commanding. But in the quiet corners of their lives, the memory of that night lingers. It reminds them and reminds us that love is not always about holding on. Sometimes the most profound expression of love is letting go. And in that release, there is both heartbreak and